Hi there. This is SEO in 2025, and I'm Ulrika Viberg.
Ulrika, what's your number one SEO tip for 2025?
So that would be actually to utilize the entities or the concept of entities and using entities in general, not only for content creations, as we have been doing now for quite some time, but also for brand optimization, making your brand stand out properly in the search results. And you do that by optimizing the entities around the brand. So that's my number one tip for 2025.
Superb. Okay, we'll delve into that. I was intrigued by the additional strapline, not only for content creation. Can you just remind us the current use of using your brand for content creation? What do you mean by that?
So entities, we've been working with that for some time, and I think that most of us understand it now. It's things that are in the universe, or actually things that we consider things in our mind. Those are entities. Google use them, and all the LLMs use them to understand language and understand concepts of language and content. So in content, we use them to create or connect things around the topic we're talking about, to make it sure that LLMs are understanding it, but also that we are talking about things in a cluster or creating semantic clusters around topics.
Understood. So creating topical authorities or brands as topical authorities, yes.
Yeah, well, but also like topical authorities, but also connecting things with each other. Just like, for example, outdoors stuff with probably sustainability, if that makes sense.
So outdoor stuff. What do we mean by that?
Outdoor stuff like skis and I don't know, down jackets, like warm things that you wear in Sweden in the winter, for example.
Okay.
You don't know about that.
I know about warm things.
Let me do some other example.
Okay.
Okay, so for example, I don't know, if you go scuba diving, you would talk about maybe the scuba gear and everything, but you also want to connect scuba diving with the Red Sea, for example, or saving corals, which probably wouldn't be super connected to scuba diving per se, but you're connecting the two entities with each other, and then the two could possibly, I don't know, share some understanding between them. So that's how you work with entities, and a bit of a semantic SEO kind of lab, like you create a bigger understanding of what it is you're talking about by connecting the two entities.
Brilliant. Yeah, I understand completely.
Okay.
When do you know the right time, though, to push the boundaries when it comes to what content your brand can talk about? Because obviously, to begin with, maybe if you're starting as a brand, you're just maybe focusing in on, let's go back to skis, just skis themselves. But afterwards, once you become known as an authority and you've targeted every keyword phrase that you want to target for that, then perhaps you want to expand to the Alps or other areas that are known for skiing, but not necessarily just skiing.
But so let's go back to keyword phrases or like keywords, because this is where entities come in and they play a bigger role. And that means also they play a bigger role for you as a brand. And if you want to optimize for example, you're a ski brand, like say Peak Performance, they do skiing and stuff, and all the clothes and the fashion that you could associate with outdoor sports. But they also want to connect themselves with being sustainable, taking care of the nature, being a specific type of person who is environmental, like considerate, and think about these things. They want to connect and be seen as that kind of brand. So they want to connect their fashion or their products with softer, more vague other entities that are not naturally connected to their brand. So they talk about it and they make statements. And this is where maybe we could go into how do we do this? And the how is you talk about it in places where you connect your brand with these statements or these topics, but also you optimize your website with a technical layer with, for example, structured data and JSON LD.
Brilliant. Okay, so it's almost working with an existing brand team and your raison d'etre for the brand, your what it actually represents, and the story behind the brand, and ensuring that users and search engines understand that story and what it relates to.
That too, but to put something extra on top of that to understand how you do it is understanding what entities you are describing or which entities you're describing your brand with. And are they understood as being a part of your brand, for example? So instead of keyword research, you do an entity research. How is your brand understood around these entities, and how salient is it the thing that you want to communicate, connected with your brand?
Got you. Okay, so you're possibly using Schema as well to mark up entities on your website, entities that you don't own as a brand, but entities that you would like to demonstrate that you have a relationship with.
Yeah, exactly. Or you wave into the description of your brand and in your schema. The schema is also important for EAT, EAT is also important, of course, for brand optimization with entities. So making sure that you are a trusted brand and have authority or have a reason to speak about this topic or this entity cluster. So they all wave into each other, and you have to take care of all of it. And schema is a part of it because you can use so many different kind of schemas. And if you also use nested schema together with, of course, the organization structured data or types, but also inviting people and persons that have some kind of reason to speak about your topic that you want to evolve as an entity, and have them on your website talking about it and using different schemas like same as, person, and other things, other works, etc., and you connect all of them together.
So how do you identify the optimum other entities that you want to be associated with?
So I actually do a Google search. I start with Googling myself or Googling the brand, see what other entities pop up around it. And you see them as small bubbles just below the search result, because they're actually suggestions of keywords or suggestions of directions that you would like to go into and search further. If you don't see them, you see them in the image search, sort of bubbles or buttons saying that, is this the type of thing that you're looking for or not? I would also go to the also asked tool, because there you can see what are people looking for, what are they connecting your brand with. And so here you see a bit like this is what people think about us today, and if there's a gap from what that is and what you want to be seen as, voila, you do that. You start talking about it, the gap that you have more. There is also Calicube. Jason Bernard, he has a very nice tool where you can actually search for your entities directly and see how well connected is the entity with you, or you with the entity, and what entities are you connected with, etc. So that's how I work with it mostly.
And what are some other ways of enhancing the connection between you and other entities? Is it just a simple matter of incorporating articles about them or speaking about them as part of what you produce on your website? Or perhaps ideally, would you want to, for instance, reach out to them and find an authority, a thought leader within that organization and interview
Exactly.
them or feature them, on your website?
I'm building my entity, Ulrika Viberg, at this moment. So that's how you do it.
Aha.
Aha. Yeah. Being mentioned is a very strong indicator of you having authority within the subject, or being a trusted person talking about something, or a trusted brand talking about something.
And of course, Google or other search engines likes transcripts, or actually even delving into video content. So if I say Ulrika Viberg is on Majestic, then it's associating those two entities there.
Yeah. Yes.
Extra strongly.
Extra strongly, exactly. That is exactly correct. And if we also put then some schema behind this website or web page where you post this episode, you also put my name and where I'm from, the organization I'm working at, and do the same as and point out my Twitter handle and LinkedIn, etc. That also gives a stronger connection. It sounds simple, but you have to actually, you can't do it only in one place. You have to do it consistently. And the consistently thing is very important, that you also make sure that you are described in more or less the same way in multiple places with the same types of entities, or preferably with the exact same wording. That would be then it's strongest.
And it seems to be a wonderful way to do outreach, to actually determine who you want to build relationships with online and hopefully get links from.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not the actual link in this case that does this. It does a lot of other things, but also, give some link like equity, but it's the mentioning and being linked to the action itself that is strong here.
And do you attempt to, you mentioned eat earlier on as well. Do you attempt to do some kind of scorecard of the entity that you would like to build a relationship with? And if you've got a few options in mind, then you might actually go for the one with the strongest eat.
Yeah. But also so it's super important if you are a brand that would fall under your money, your life categories, then this is already important, but maybe even more so now that we consider the brand entity optimization. Then you would definitely have to be saying things or being trusted in other trustful places that gives you even more backlinks, but mentions as well from other trusted sources.
And does this make it more likely that you're going to appear in AI overviews and other AI generated results?
Ta-da! Exactly. And being a strong entity or strong brand entity in the knowledge graph, so that your knowledge panel looks like you want it to and is really visible and is also connected. So the end result is you as a brand having a really nice knowledge panel, but also surfacing the search result when someone is searching for the entity that you want to be connected to. So in this case, environmental friendly ski wear, then that's where peak performance want to be, for example.
Got you. Okay, so you'll start to prop up even when people search for other brands.
Yeah. And things that you want to sell or be connected to.
If an SEO is struggling for time, what should they stop doing right now so they can spend more time focusing on what you suggest in 2025?
So stop doing so basic SEO is always going to be super, super important, but stop doing meta descriptions and alt tags manually. Just don't do that, because it doesn't give that much.
But still do them. Still use AI to produce meta descriptions?
Yeah, I do AI, but also I create scripts or rules so they are done manually. Especially meta descriptions, if you don't have them and you don't have time to actually create them, or you don't have budget for AI, or I don't know, just skip it. Just make sure that you have proper content on the website instead. and proper internal linking.
Ulrika Viberg is CEO at Unikorn, and you can find her over at unikorn.se. Ulrika, thanks so much for being part of SEO in 2025.
Thank you so much for having me.
I've been your host, David Bain. Get your copy of SEO in 2025, the book, over at seoin2025.com.